All right, hey y'all, welcome back. John here, and today I'm going to be telling you why you should not be paying extra on your mortgage in an attempt to pay it off. Now, this is going to run counter to a lot of what I talk about on this channel: personal finance, financial responsibility, financial confidence, and debt reduction. But what we're talking about today is just basic math. So I'm also going to do a video in the future about how much you can save by paying down your mortgage, but in today's financial environment, it doesn't make any sense to do so, and I'm going to show you exactly why. All right, welcome back. If you're new to the channel, please click that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And here we talk about financial confidence, wealth building. I believe in America, anybody can build their way to a substantial amount of wealth by building their financial intelligence. And I love home ownership, and I'm going to do a whole video about buying a home and paying a little bit extra and how much you can save yourself for investments for the future. I'm a big believer in home ownership, but in the current financial environment, I don't think it makes any sense to make extra payments on your mortgage. Now, again, as I mentioned in the intro there, it kind of runs counter to how I believe about things. I believe in paying down debt, pay all those credit cards off, pay off your car, and imagine the dream of having a house that you don't have payments on. You're paying your utilities, you're paying your property taxes, and that's it. All of that money that you spend right now paying to the mortgage company, you could roll into other investments and roll into lifestyle. I mean, that's thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a year. But right now, the financial situation is not going to make any sense to go ahead and put those extra payments towards your mortgage. And I want to show you exactly why. So, number one, I'm going to flip over here to my screen. And number one, I want to take a really basic amortization schedule. All right, and this is with Bankrate. They've got a lot of great calculators on here. And what I've done is I'm going to start off with the assumption that I'm going to use over and over again that you qualify for a $300,000 mortgage, but you're going to buy a house of about $250,000. So that's going to allow you that little bit of extra where you can make additional payments. All right. And so right off the bat here, if we calculate that, it's going to be $1,122.61 in monthly payments. Now that is not including HOA fees, insurance, taxes, things like that. Other things would be rolled into it. So if you talk to a lender, this number would actually be higher than that. But I just want to talk about the mortgage right now. So you've got as of my recording today, a 30-year payoff, April 16th. And I want to scroll down and show you this. I want you to remember this number way down here, right there. $154,000. That's how much in interest you're paying. So you're getting a $250,000 mortgage and you're paying $154,000 in interest. That is profit to your mortgage company. I find that horrible, but even at today's rates, I'm using a 3.5%, I believe, up here as a interest rate. That's still a lot of money. So what we're going to do is we're going to scroll back up here, and this calculator has got a neat little section right here, add extra payments. So let's say you add $200 extra to your monthly mortgage payment. The first thing is you're going to notice your payoff drops from 2051 to 2044. So you're saving 7 years. 7 years in payments, and you've paid off your house. But more importantly, scroll down here. $113,000. So you've saved somewhere around $40,000 in interest that you're paying your mortgage company. And that's a lot. And a lot of times it makes so much sense to actually pay extra and get your mortgage paid off as fast as possible. Make an extra payment a year, things like that. We're going to talk about that in another video. But that's why, because you can save tens of thousands of dollars. But here's the deal. The average stock market returns historically 10% before inflation. All right. And if you go over here, this is actually from Freddie Mac up here, the mortgage market survey. So 30-year fixed rate mortgage. They only go back for some reason to about 1971, but you can see here the rate was 7.33%. Look there in 79 and 80, and you're talking about, there it is, 18.22%. So since the downturn 2009, 2010, our rates have held pretty low and are near historical lows. So that they're actually quoting here there it is. It's somewhere in there. Okay, it was like 2.72 is what they actually said there. I can't find that spot right now. But let's say less than 3%, okay? You may not get that. That's an exceptionally well-qualified individual, but maybe you're paying 3, 3.25, whatever it is. And of course, if you get a 15-year, it's even less, but your payments are going to be higher with a 15-year. Regardless, you have near historically low interest rates. So point number one is if you're in a mortgage and you're at a much, much higher rate and you want to pay extra to pay it down, it might be a great time to refinance. Talk to a bank, talk to your credit union. It might make sense. Refinance, get that payment down. You're starting the clock over at 30, but you're locking in that lower interest rate. But the point of this video is really simple. If I can borrow money at, let's say, 3% or 3.5%, but I'm making 10% before inflation, it's free money to use that and invest it in the stock market. Now, I'm not saying take a HELOC out, empty run up your mortgage and invest it in the stock market. That's bad. But if you were going to pay an extra, let's say $200 towards your mortgage, and you're going to get 7, 8, 10% in your investments, it makes a lot more sense to put it into an investment than try to pay down that mortgage. And let me show you exactly how that works. I go over here to another bank rate calculator, and you don't care about the investment goal up here, but let's do 30 years because that's the time period of your mortgage. 8% return on investment. So I'm taking that 10% average and dropping it down by, let's say, inflation. And then plug in $200 a month, okay? That will give you $281,000, almost $282,000 after 30 years, before taxes and before inflation. If it's all taxable, it's $182,000, but if you put it into something like IRAs or 401ks, it's $281,000. Guys, this is a no-brainer. As much as that $40,000 in interest is a savings, taking that $200 and investing it into equities that are going to throw off 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12% interest is an absolute no-brainer. Because at the end of that 5, 10, 20, 30-year period, you are going to be so much further ahead. Taking the taxable interest right here, the taxable return of 182, almost 183, even with that $40,000 in savings, you're still ahead $140,000. So that's why we are not aggressively paying down our mortgage right now. We are putting it into investments. Now, things change. Interest rates will eventually start going up, and that'll kind of put a damper down on the homeownership. And eventually the stock market's going to have a correction. The housing market's going to have a correction. Everything's going to have a correction. So you have to take into account what's going on at this moment. But once you have those stocks over here in investment, you can switch. If you've got that extra $200, you can switch it to your mortgage. You can switch it back over here. Unless you think that you've got a problem, there's going to be a shortage of work in the future where you want to pay down your house and pay your house as much as possible. Or maybe if you're in a situation where you think you're going to move in a few years and you want as much equity as possible, maybe I could see you paying extra on the house. But by any pure math looking at it, it makes more sense to put your money into an investment, whether it's an index fund or a stock, like going through Webull like I have. Sign up, you can look at all the research, you can invest in individual stocks, and when you sign up and you deposit your first $100, you get 2 free stocks, I think up to $1,600, something like that. It's like free money, guys. So I've got a link to that below right here. But the most important thing is that people who can put an extra money down on their mortgage can shovel it over here into some kind of investment. And the most important thing they can do is mash that like button for me. I really appreciate it. It helps me with the algorithm. But let it sit there and let it mature and grow for the future. So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, let me know. If you've got any comments, let me know below. Keep it respectful. Other than that, I appreciate it, and I hope you're having a great day.